We're live? Maybe?
I don't know, but we're it's episode 194, Fans of Power. I'm Joe Amato with Tyler Baker, Nathan Kenny. We don't know what's going on. We'll see if it holds all up. I don't even. Just got thrown for a loop. It's storming here too. Plus, I was knocking over my tablet. I got to try not to be too animated, which it's always hard. And I don't even know if people can hear us, but I do see that we have Jason Johnston, Papa Hud 69, Benjamin Bowie, Zentron, Demozable. And I think I got everybody so far, and we'll see who kind of keeps popping in again. And then that's why I say sometimes make sure you subscribe to us, just in case we do have issues, and you're here waiting and you don't see us, but we might pop a little later or pop a little early. So just make sure you hit that subscribe button just to be here. And Mike Shamp's here, and Jobber DG, and look at that, I get to say them all now, Tyler. I get to acknowledge everybody. Anthony Albanese, Michael Purvis, JSP. This is Bonanza. We got everybody. They're all here for the madness of good and bad, depending on what people like or don't like.
People know what to expect. I mean, I don't care what people were thinking, but if they're, I hope they're not getting their hopes up.
Well, that's the thing. It's what I always say. We always keep it respectful. Either way, like there's going to be things that Tyler likes that I don't, and that I like and that he don't. But I'm not
mainly things that Joe likes that I don't. That's pretty much. And then Nathan would be like, I couldn't agree more.
We're not going to be pissing on each other. And
I'm just over here being mad at OBS right now for not stabilizing.
So we're all pissed off. Yeah, people, so don't expect a lot of joys and laughs.
It's bugging me so much. Hopefully it gets better as we go.
Yeah, because again, I mean, there's going to be things that I like that I know Tyler won't like. Then there's even things Tyler like, then I might think's cool, but I sure the hell just won't be able to get. And then there's some stuff that are just questionable.
Don't try and mix it up as if you're trying to we got a mixed bag of emotions. Bullshit, man.
Well, when it comes to me liking something, because I'm going to start off. Well, we've seen some origin stuff, and they did show a Trap Jaw. And I love the wickedness and look of Trapjaw, how they showed for the Origins figure, along with they showed Battle Cat. And Battle Cat, he has a lot of articulation now compared to the vintage figure. Because some people wanted more, but I was like, well, I know they're not going to do tons of it, but he does have opposable mouth, and then his shoulders, and then kind of like if you want to call an elbow. But either way, there's hinges. So there are hinges parts, and Battle Cat did look good. And there's some amazing box art that's almost like an homage to the original Battle Cat box art. And I don't think they gave us the name of the artist, though. They're trying to find, I think David Clark, who's over in Masters Universe Origins Group, I think he said a lot of people are going to try to find that out to see who it is, because his work needs to be acknowledged. And I think in that group as well, Axel said he might be doing the back of the art for Battle Cat. So I'm curious to see what that'll be. That'll be cool, because I love seeing what Axel does. But then they had a quick little preview of showing that they're going to do Scareglow, Orko, and Manny faces. So I guess it's showing they're not going to go in a typical order, which some fans maybe would have thought with this Origins line. Maybe they thought, hey, they're just going to give us all the originals, kind of how it was in first wave 1 and 2, and then move to the rest. But I like seeing they mix it up. Now, that's the stuff, of course, I'm excited about. And I know Tyler, he's not a super fan of this Origins line. And I don't know if anything would turn him around and say, hey, it's good. Like if he goes in the store and says, hey, it's cool, or he might say, it still sucks. But I know you don't flip too much over him, Tyler.
No. Pretty much indifferent to all the Origin announcements. I mean, I saw Battle Cat, and I'm like, well, I got a fully articulated Battle Cat on the shelf here, and I've got a vintage one up here. I've got one in a commemorative box set over here. I'm like, it's not kind of hard to get excited about something that I've got 3 prestigious versions of. And do
you think it's something possibly that if you've seen in person, possibly, it's all hypothetical, that maybe you think something different if you've seen it in hand?
I mean, I've said it before. I will buy this line. Am I excited for it? No, at all. I'm not counting down the days. In fact, I think it's ridiculous to launch a line of just articulated vintage figures that's coming out over a year from now. So it's like Masters fans have jack shit to look forward to for a year. They have nothing to look forward to other than the hypothesis of a supposed shit film. Just nothing to get excited about. There's nothing going to be in stores or anything like that. So aside from that, I'll buy it, but I'm not excited for it at all. I don't care who they announce. It's these figures right up here. And it's just, I know they got many comics, and Jamie, one of our listeners, sent me a screenshot of the artwork, and the art looks good. It's not substandard shit art, but if they hire someone to come in there and make it their own personal playground and play around with the mythology, I'll be really pissed off about that. God, hoping that's not going to happen. But I will buy the toys. I will support the line, but I'm not excited for it. And it's just not that. It's the same thing. I'm not going to harp on it because I know a lot of people are probably excited to see that. But it's just I can't get excited to repurchase something that I really wasn't craving to have an articulated Scareglow on my shelf or make a new shelf for it. It's just something I really didn't need. But I'll support it,
Sorry, just I heard a gigantic storm that almost muffled you out for a second. Hold on, I gotta click that back in. I was catching. And I can understand that. I guess I'm just super excited because it is going to be great to go back into the toy aisles again and see Masters of the Universe, and at a good price, because for $14.99, not only are you getting a cool articulated style vintage figure, but like you said, you're getting a mini comic with it, and I'm very curious for what that's going to be. But since it hasn't been since the 2000X times of those figures, have I been really hyped up, excited? Like, don't get me wrong, I love classics, but I admit there was a couple things that I was missing. I was missing that kind of like feel of going in for the hunt and going to the stores to get them, which I know some people hated because they're like, hey, I'd rather have it conveniently sent to me in a monthly subscription, which I respect. But then the prices it became too much for me. I wasn't able to collect at least the last 3-4 years of classics because it just got too much. But I like knowing that it's going to be back in toy stores for not only us, but hopefully a new generation to get excited about. Hopefully. Is that going to happen? No, that's not a guarantee. It would be nice, though, just to bring the surgeons.
I don't feel it can't possibly be targeted towards kids, though. This line has got collector written all
not.
over it.
You're right.
That's why I hate it when they try to throw in, we're trying to encourage a new generation. Like, no, you're not. If you were, it'd be a lot cheaper, and it wouldn't be this specific figure. You don't make these kind of specific figures like this if you're not really trying to target the adult.
Oh, it's definitely for us. Oh, no, I agree. It's definitely for us. But to have a new generation would be great, which we'll be getting to something later, which with this possibly coming, maybe we're going to get to that.
It's not going to help the cause.
And it's not going to look like these figures, but if anything, I see what could be happening. But like I said, I am super excited about. God damn this rain! I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cuss, but it's so loud. I feel like.
Well, we can't hear it, Joe.
Yeah.
Relax, dude. Yeah. We can't hear
it.
Oh,
you can't.
No.
Oh, it got me all worked up. I thought I was being overpowered, but. Okay. Sorry.
It's good. I actually got caught in a thunderstorm earlier today. It didn't rain here where I live, but where we went today, it hailed and everything. It was crazy. And I'm gonna go ahead and do a thing. You said you wanted me here at the beginning, and apologies, guys. Again, this is just it hasn't maintained a steady rate like it did last week. So apologies, but I am gonna do something kind of neat. Boom, 3-person. There we go. Hopefully that looks kind of cool. So now you can watch me jitter around like Tyler does, which it doesn't matter. You guys are used to that.
Mm-hmm.
As Joe
I just want to see when it pops up on the screen. But no, so anyways, like I said, it is great with the leasing, what they're doing with Origins. I was happy about that. The other thing Tyler's not happy about, which I get giddy for, not only just because I want a collection for myself, but I know I have customs coming on the way for other people. They showed some more of the WWE stuff that's coming up. And I know Tyler's like, oh, here we go. But I am giddy about those. And those are another cheap price. Those will be around this Christmas or just before Christmas. So I was hyped and psyched for that. But the stuff that was cool, which I really can't afford, and like I said, I guess this is what I meant when I told Tyler I didn't flip over it because I never really collected them, but doesn't mean they suck, is Super 7 announced a whole bunch of turtles that they're going to be working on. So I'll pass it to Tyler for that because they did look cool, but I was like, well, I never really had a real connection with them, and I wouldn't be able to afford them anyways. But go ahead, Tyler and Nathan, on that.
Yeah, pretty much all the great stuff was not He-Man related. That was announced at PowerCon. Anything that was not He-Man related was fantastic news to hear. I mean, from the shit minis they're dumping out again, I'm like, who the hell want one of those things back out again? But Turtles, I kept wondering, when the hell are we ever going to see this line that they've announced they're going to do? And we got to see it. The first 4 figures look absolutely amazing. They look great. with Baxter and Raph, the Foot Soldier and Splinter. Definitely look like throwbacks to the originals. But and you might be saying, well, Tyler, why don't you like the Origins line if they're just articulated? Well, these are bigger figures, and I feel like we don't have that original line has not been replicated multiple times by Mattel. I've got an entire wall of commemorative figures of the exact same damn figure as long as what I got on this top shelf here. So I have the right to be excited about something that has not been done since the original line. But I think the new Turtles line looks great. I will pre-order that, and I look forward to just subbing up for every consecutive way to get all the Turtles, as many foot members we can get. Hopefully we get Ground Chuck, Dirtbag, Triceratops, Slash, Shredder, so on and so forth. Nothing but promise with that. And the
scheduling on that, real quick, didn't mean to cut you off, but they look like it seems like they got a great roadmap for Turtles, and also for some other thing which we'll mention in a second. We'll get to that. But it seems like they mentioned for 2020, didn't they have it start for January and then the next one into April and something else? Didn't they have like at least 4 waves scheduled?
Yeah, they're trying to make sure that because they're going to launch Thundercats kind of around the same time, so that way. Which is nice. I'm just kind of curious as to when you have to pay for those, because Super 7 demands payment up front before they go into production and everything. And with each wave, are you paying for a year's worth? Are you paying for each individual wave? And every 3 months you're expected to pay? I don't know how that's going to work, but they're trying. Brian said that they're trying to make sure that Thundercast does not overlap with Turtles, so that way you're being bled at the same time. I'll be bled every month as opposed to a whole lot at the same time.
And those are still 2022, right, for the Thundercats, but just in different months? Isn't like their schedule every 4 months as well, but at different times? Or how is that?
I remember he said I thought he said every 3 months with Thundercats.
3 months? Okay.
Yeah, because they got 16 figures planned out, and they are coming, which I was glad that at least Pixel Dan and Brian acknowledged the whole curse around Thundercats, which is something I've always worried about too. But as far as we can tell, these are locked in, and they will be coming in sets of 4. So every three or quarterly, you'll get a new set of Thundercats, and I imagine Turtles are going to be set up the exact same way. You'll just get them at a different time. That way, you're not being asked to pay double. Because I'm sure these sets are probably going to cost around the same per 4 figures. So, I just expect to kind of pay multiple times back to back as opposed to a whole lot at once. So at least that's what he's saying, and I feel pretty confident that that's probably what will happen. So that, in regards to Turtles and Thundercats, great news, and it sounds very bright for that to have some good stuff. I'm kind of curious what NECA fans feel about this Turtles line, since NECA's been doing their version of classic, even though it's based on the cartoon.
Yeah, but they won't have to go out and stress themselves at trying to find them at Target either, so that's always a plus. And sorry if I'm not being as talkative. I'm just sitting here the kilobytes per second and looking at the drop frames. It's been like...
Oh, no worries. I feel like I hadn't stopped talking to give you a shot.
Well, it's just like 74% drop frames since we started recording, and it's really bothering me. Like, it's dropping to 0 and then going back. The stream's resumed quite a few times, and I don't know if that loses audio at the end of the day on the stream, so that's... I'm just kind of being pissed off. We might just have to... Sorry, guys, we might just have to start recording these and just uploading them to YouTube, because this is... Not good. And annoying.
Yeah, because we love the interaction, but if we can't, even perform the episode or the show, then, we don't want to give you quality that isn't up to our standards. So, hopefully things could work, but if not, we'd have to just record them, just like Nathan said, upload them, and then you guys could always still make comments during, once you watch it, and we could still interact one way or another to get to any of your questions.
Yeah.
But, one other thing is they showed Conan, which now explains, because I remember we've been waiting for Funko to release their. Yeah, we were waiting for Funko to do their Conan figures for a while, and then we knew Super 7 was doing a comic version of Conan, and I was like, well, I don't think that should have anything to do with Funko and their movie figures of Conan. But now we see they have the movie figures, so it's like, okay, I think we know what was going on.
That and
Funko was going to.
Thundercats.
Yeah, and I was just going to say we're going to get Thundercats too, but no Thundercats now, so I think we know what's happened. I believe that Brian said that they're trying to get rights for the likeness for James Earl Jones for Thulsa Doom. So, but they have a roadmap for that as well. They didn't go as in depth, but they did say that they would like to get to a lot of characters. So, would be nice to see what they do. So I was going to say, even if people aren't getting their classics fixed for Masters, hell, they got so many things with Thundercats and Turtles and this. It's a lot.
Yeah, in that regard, I got nothing to complain about. To have a line of Conan figures that's going to be devoted to either the comic books or the 2 films, character-wise, you could really go a long period of that, with 4 figures at a time. Thundercats, 16 figures already ready to go outside of the 4 that they're re-releasing again. And with Turtles, so I will have a lot of fun stuff to look forward to. It's just not going to be He-Man related, unfortunately. But I'm very, very glad to hear those kinds of answers, to see why Thundercats and Conan came to fruition is now because of this, and I couldn't be happier with it. The sculpts look amazing. So yeah, I'm pretty damn pumped for all the Super 7s news that they had. So it was pretty uplifting to see that, because we were driving back from a toy store yesterday. Me and Nathan, I showed him the pic. I was like, hey, check this shit out. And I showed Nathan the picture of Conan and told him that Rexor and Thulkrum were being released too, and said one more is yet to be announced. I kind of figured it was Thulsa Doom. So,
no, I'm only doing. I'm only doing this because it said stream complete 2 or 3 times, and then it resumes, and then it says complete, and then.
Well, I want to ask somebody in the chat room. Then, I mean, you're saying it does that, but everybody in the chat room, have we completely dropped out for you, or is it just the video or also the audio?
Well, they say that the audio's fine, but then the video's really choppy, and then when we go offline, then it goes away, and then it goes green for a while, then it hits red, and it's just really fucking frustrating.
No, I know, because as you've seen, everybody in the chat room was saying they'd rather have a choppy picture than a taped episode. They liked interacting with us, so. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I do like the interaction. I'm sure.
Keep bringing it up because it ruins the fun
of
the
worries,
show.
Bud.
But
no worries.
It's just really annoying.
Well, what did you at least, if anything, Nathan? Did you at least get to look up the Turtles reveals since we told you about it a little earlier? Did you at least check them out to see what they look like?
I haven't. I've been stressing over this too much. I'll do that right now, actually.
Okay. Well, while you're looking that up. There was an announcement starting in November of Masters of the Multiverse by DC. It's going to be a 6-part comic series again. Now, again, I would say, hey, that sounds kind of cool. Would be interesting. But I have a feeling that I hope I'm wrong. But I hope they just don't mock certain things from the 80s, like when it's the Filmation cartoon, version of He-Man, make a lot of corny jokes or make something corny pertaining to a mini comic, because I always would like to have high hopes that, hey, that'd be awesome. I'm curious what it's going to be about. But every time I hear the name Prince Keldor, I'm like, oh, wait, now they're not going to do the Keldor line, their story again, is it? Is that what they're going to do and have Keldor / become Skeletor and that Skeletor helps all these He-Men? Or I just hate when I hear the name Prince Keldor because I keep thinking, what canon are they going to focus on the most? It'd be nice if it was great, but I always get so concerned. And Tyler, did you see or read anything about the Masters of the Multiverse coming in November?
No, that's my first time hearing. Someone tagged a picture, a painting of movie He-Man fighting Krita, and you got Optic and I think Thunder Punch He-Man. I was like, I don't know what that is, but I mean the art looked. It was a nice painting, but now that you tell me that, and DC's doing it, well, all I can say is that storyline is fucked.
I hope, like I said, I would love something nice.
Dude, don't be coy, man. DC shits on everything that dish on He-Man. It's only people who don't know anything about He-Man will appreciate. If you know a general idea of the mythology, then you're probably not going to like it. And I know there are some people that have, that watch this podcast. I'm not slamming you or anything, but I find their work on He-Man to be abysmal. It's terrible. It's just god awful. So I don't care that 87 movie isn't knowledge or new adventures, they will shit all over it, and they probably will do what Joe says because they think they're witty and funny and playing up to the people who love to watch 10 things that made the live action 87 movie sick.
Oh, hey, do you want to talk about the
crowd.
Honest trailer? I know you love that.
No.
Did you even watch it?
No, I didn't watch that shit. No, I did not watch that.
What is
that?
It's a thing on YouTube where they do honest trailers where like
and they're not funny. They never are.
Even if it is like like a good movie, if enough people request it. Here, I need to put it back on the 3-person thing. If enough people request it, then they'll do it, and they sort of just mock the whole thing. And the entire time I watched it, I was like, all right, Tyler, you might want to cover your ears. It's like, yeah, you know what? The movie, if you look at it as the base, you're like, yeah, I guess it's not that great, right? But, like, there's something to it that I've come to really enjoy, and each time I watch it, I like it more and more. So, yeah, there's no Orko, blah, 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 whatever. And that's kind of what they harp on during the whole thing.
God, what a bunch of tree stumps, man.
Yeah, it mostly just focuses.
That's what I'm saying, is that they're just fucking morons. People who make these kinds of videos think that they're just pointing out obvious stuff as if like, oh my God, I've never thought of that about that before. This movie does stuff because Orko's not in it. That shit is not funny. Like, I've been able, I can laugh at something that pokes fun at him if it's really legitimately funny. If it's just juvenile bullshit humor, that ain't funny. You're better off just, watching some Will Ferrell bullshit, or implying, I don't know, some kind of like sexual innuendos. Stuff like that is not funny.
But it was mostly just, hey, Orko Trapjaw is not in it. Dolph Lundgren's accent,
so
Courtney Cox in the teens and everything. So it,
like, just them pointing out things that they think are funny.
I mean, it's just the obvious shit that everyone thinks about it. Like, it's there, it exists, people probably enjoy it. It is what it is. But I'm saying, like, sorry again, Tyler, it is at the top of, like, my favorite bad movies. Because to me, it's a fun film. It's a good movie. To me, it's a good movie. But I'm saying, like, it's in that category of bad movies. I guess Tyler and I aren't friends anymore.
God, man, I'm cracking skulls the next time I see you, dude.
I'll wear a helmet.
Man, I thought this evening was going to be bad. I'm sure Kevin Sharp is laughing his ass off when he sees this, and he'll be joining us next week. But God,
I just wish the fucking video quality was better. This is annoying the piss out of me. Sorry. It's just gonna bug me because it's not going where it needs to, and I don't know why it's not. I guess I need to like dig into firewall shit and look at things. Anyway, go ahead. Sorry, I keep ruining the flow with that. It's just pissing me off. Anybody?
You're not ruining
anybody.
No,
anything.
you're not.
Someone say something.
Anyone?
Bueller?
No, that's the thing. Bueller. That thing you were talking about, this trailer, or whatever. I had no clue what it was, and I think somebody tagged me, a couple people, but I just thought they were tagging like, hey, here's the original trailer for the 87 movie, so I just never watched it because I was like, oh, I've seen that trailer before. But
no,
this
it's just some guy who says shit in a sarcastic voice, makes fun of not only bad movies but good movies. Like, I get why they're doing it, but they're not funny though. That's the thing; they're not funny. And I've seen them do ones for bad movies. Like, I'm like, they're just not funny.
Okay.
But if you God.
I'll look at it just to see what the hell it is because I have no clue until what you guys said now.
Well, that's the thing, though. I kind of feel it because I carry the biggest flag for that film. I mean, everybody's going to be like, ha, ha, ho, slapping the legs there, Nathan, and thinking, this is a funny shit, man.
That's what
worries me. Is that
not
mentality
slapping the legs like Nathan, slapping the legs like JT and Gary. Come on.
Well, I'm saying it to you because you know what I'm talking about. The rest of our audience does not know what slapping the leg means. So it's an inside joke, that me and Nathan know about.
If you want to check up on that, check out Capes and Commentaries episode that just went on the channel yesterday. You'll kind of get a broader idea of what we're talking about.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
one more. interesting thing before I think we get to our top tens. You know, when the MYP cartoon came out, I was excited. I liked it. I'm just doing a slow build, but I was excited. I liked it. But I remember there were a few people, not a few, probably quite a few that said, it looks too anime. I don't like an anime look. And I was like, I really don't get too much of an anime vibe. I understand what you mean, but I didn't feel like it was anime. And I still enjoyed it, as did a lot of people. But today, Kevin Smith announced at PowerCon that it's going to be anime style. It was definitely emphasized anime style He-Man is coming to Netflix. Now,
hey,
I don't think that...
Well, to be fair, from what I've heard and the little bit that I've read, it's going to be from the team that did the Castlevania series that went on Netflix, and that actually looked pretty good. So I
know what you mean. I did see that.
I wouldn't be too doom and gloom just yet.
Right, no. But what I mean is, it's funny, a lot of people said that, they hated the anime style of MYP, which I didn't get that vibe, but now this definitely is saying anime. And you're right, they said it is from the team that did the Castlevania series, which that was good, and I did enjoy it. And I would like and hopefully have good hopes for that. But it's like when he put up the little write-up on it, that's when I get lost. See, and when I said this, there were some people that, when I posted it, said, well, you're getting too worked up for it, and there's no definite of what you're saying right there, and it could be different, which it could be, but here's the thing. It said that Tila, apparently, it said something about first, they said, this is picking up where Filmation left off, which is, no way, that's a lie, ain't gonna happen.
No,
and also
it's full of shit. It's just trying to get people to buy into this.
Right, and then not only that, but I hate when they speak for fans before, we didn't even know about this, and they said, this is the Masters of the Universe that you've been waiting 35 years for, or something. Like, no, it's not. Don't put words in our mouth. Let's wait and see what it's like. Don't say, this is what we've been waiting for, and it's going to answer so many things. We know nothing about that. But one of the plots was, it said that apparently the Power Sword is missing, and Tila is going on the quest to find the Power Sword. Now, this is how they emphasized, not an episode, but the premise of the show. So, so what are we getting? Are we going to get a whole series where it's Tila looking for the sword and we see He-Man in a flashback? Is He-Man going to even appear? It's like, that's when I get concerned. It's like, when we have always known Masters of the Universe, we know there's the main hero, which has been He-Man. When we watch Princess of Power, the main hero has always been She-Ra. And when you take them out of that as being the main characters, you're losing what this movie, what this cartoon, what this story has always been about. This, when you say Masters of the Universe, people say He-Man. They know what this means. So when I said, so when I said that He-Man, I was like, is he going to be in this? Or like, well, Jesus, Joe, calm down. They didn't say he wasn't going to be in it. I was like, well, I don't know. I'm reading this description. It makes it sound like Tila's going to be looking for the sword. So what are they talking about? It's like, that is a horrible way to advertise if it's a part of the story arc. Because you got a lot of fans concerned now. And we can speak up if we're concerned. Not slamming it, saying, hey, the cartoon shit and everybody working on this shit. I didn't say that. I'm concerned that you better not have He-Man not be the main person in the show or barely be in it, because you've just lost half the audience, or a good, probably even more. Because what is Masters without He-Man? I don't understand.
Yeah,
but go ahead. Now,
what if it's building to like a story where somehow the Power Sword is lost, but He-Man, I guess at this point, if the sword is lost, you'd be Prince Adam. What if he's like...
Oh, and then don't do that dragged out shit. Then, we're going to have a 12-part story arc,
Yeah, what if he's, like, being held at Snake Mountain by Skeletor?
I hate that. I story arc that would drag.
Yeah, but what if that's just, like... how it's...
A short story arc could be fine, but, I get scared when I see you tune in to see Prince Adam turn into He-Man and He-Man kick ass. And Masters without He-Man is not Masters of the Universe. Tyler.
Actually, I have a headache right now.
Go ahead.
I haven't felt this way since I saw the Ghostbusters reboot trailer.
But you haven't seen anything yet. It's just an announcement and some text on a screen. There's nothing is even started.
Right, first off, I want to know who the hell felt that Kevin Smith, who not once, and I have watched all of his films behind the scenes. I've read stuff about Kevin. I've listened to his podcast, and I stopped because they suck. At what point ever, because I sure as hell have not ever heard Kevin utter a single mention of He-Man and the Master of the Universe other than on the commentary track for Roadhouse saying that Anthony DeLongis
All right, hopefully we're back. Apologies, this has just been a shit show. So, Tyler, let's get back to you and your rant on the new announcement of the Kevin Smith Master Universe Revelation.
I just, I don't have any appreciation for his work and haven't for quite some time. And he's notoriously known for being a Batman fan and Marvel fan, DC fan, but not once has he ever shown any interest in He-Man. I mean, he was a lot older when this toy line was going on. And not to say that it's not possible, but you just have never heard this guy ever have any public acknowledgement of this property. And I don't know how much he is I don't know if he's writing this or they're just using him as like some way they can cash in on using a name, which in this day and age, who the hell thinks Kevin Smith has any credentials and like, oh, well, Kevin Smith likes it, it's got to be good. I think by this point people quite know he's easily bought to attach his name to some sort of like, film that, hey, if Kevin Smith liked to let a Star Wars film, well, it's got to be good then. That kind of thing. Like, he has no credentials. So to attach this guy to write our beloved He-Man in a new animated series, no, I have no faith in that at all.
Well, hang on here. It's definitely confirmed he is the one writing this.
That's the thing. I'm not sure if he is doing the writing or just like he is just what his involvement, because they did list other writers, but no, when the thing I guess that gets me mad, it's what we always say. Why do people mock the originals before your show is even out? It's, promote your cartoon or what you're working on without doing the smart little remarks, because they already started doing things like, talking about how the old Skeletor would go, meow. I'm like, okay, that shows you're not a fan, because he's never done meow his entire life in that cartoon. So that shows you know nothing. Second, they want to talk about Prince Adam character that maybe just, Prince Adam could be somebody that maybe in this cartoon, somebody is, it's like us, it's overlooked. He's a prince, but maybe not too special. It's like, did you ever watch a cartoon? Did you ever read the comics? Like I said, he is still, and like he's a ladies' man, especially when you look at the comics before the cartoon. But even in the cartoon, he was out. Maybe you didn't see it all the time, but it was referenced, and sometimes you knew it. It's like, it's not like he's a nobody or somebody. Oh, I would never want to be Prince Adam. I just was getting this vibe that was annoying me. And then Kevin Smith again made some kind of remark about, this cartoon isn't going to be one where you'll be getting the morals at the end, and them looking at you and talking to you at the end of the cartoon. It's like, is that what they want to do? And they think that's all the cartoons were about. They're about morals, and they were corny, and Skeletor was a goofball going, meow. I just...
That was said on this panel? He said this, or someone at this panel said
it was on the panel. Yeah, it was on the panel where he said something, and it was in reference to Skeletor always going, meow. I was like, no, he never did that. But
he said this? He said this?
Yes, he said that.
Fuck Kevin Smith. Fuck him.
And then
I'm not backing down from this. Anybody who thinks I'm like, oh, Tyler, you hate everything. No, that is unacceptable. If this asshole knew what he was talking about or was a real fan, he would have done his damn homework, which obviously he has not. He has listened to the shit that pops up on social media and memes and shitty T-shirts and all this other stuff because he's not a fan of this property. Maybe it's something so he can get his daughter some voice work, because he throws her in all his current movies. Nathan saw how great an actress she was, right, Nathan?
I mean, Yoga Hosers was pretty shitty, but...
Yeah, so I almost felt like this could be something where he ends up casting his daughter Harley to play Tila or some shit like that.
Well, I don't think that shit. I don't know. Don't get worked up too much about anything until you actually see something for it. There may be some promise to it, but just because he says some throwaway remark on a panel, because you know how Kevin Smith is on his Q&As and everything, his main thing is to get a laugh out of people, right? So he's probably just saying that to get a laugh. Don't take it so much to heart but playing up that it just comes off like that's the extent of it. Like it's a cheap laugh, as if that's all he knows. Because like Joe said, that's something that has never been said at all in anywhere. It's just I don't know, some asshole on YouTube threw it in there, and it took off like wildfire. People buy into that, so that the Filmation series was not silly or corny. They have bad episodes that are, but again, I don't understand why Kevin Smith is a part of this at all. I've never known him to be a fan of the series. From what I gather, based off of the chat room, he is just producing.
See, even so, which means he's got fingers all over, much like how Michael Bay had fingers all over the shitty Turtle films. He didn't direct it, but he's still putting his fingers all over it.
But once again, we get to the point of there's nothing. There wasn't a trailer or anything. So I would hold off complete and total judgment until we actually see something.
See, we were told that for the She-Ra series too.
Well, yeah, I get that, but then you saw it, and then you can make your judgments from there. Don't just immediately be like, well, Kevin Smith said Skeletor said nah, and now I fuck this. Wait until you see something. Let a trailer drop. And then judge it based off of that. Then you can actually hear the voice work. You can see what it's going to look like. You can see where the story's going to go. You can't just take
I see what you mean.
Hey,
I see what you mean with that, Nathan.
Here's a flat image.
Well, first off, I wasn't done. That was just the first part of my rant. Okay. Is the fact that Kevin Smith is attached to this. That was not the main reason I was upset.
Is it because it's anime?
That doesn't do it any favors. I hate anime. I have watched anime. I do not like it. I think it's ugly. I think there's at times there are some decent, like the Street Fighter movie, the animated film. That was good, but I'm not a fan of anime, and it did not turn me into an anime fan. If I didn't like Street Fighter, I wouldn't have given a shit about it at all. But I have tried watching other anime. Even as a kid, I thought I would watch it, but I thought the animation was just very ugly and visually not interesting at all. It looks silly as shit. So to see that as with He-Man, even though I've seen the over for Castlevania, it didn't look bad.
Yeah.
But another thing too, when you're selling, the synopsis of that show comes off like you're trying to follow up with what the She-Ra show is doing, which is emphasis on girl power. And to say this is picking up where the Filmation series left off, well, there was no definitive end to that series, nor was there a storyline in any time in the 80s of the Lost Power Sword that, unless it served like one brief story, like disappearing that, for example, or something like that. But to say that it's Tila's journey, and even if you tie this into Castle Grayskull, like in this, they're going to say she is being hinted at her responsibilities at one day becoming the sorceress. I feel like that is not her responsibility. It's Adam's responsibility. If this sword is lost, that's Adam's journey. Tila's journey is taking up the responsibility and the mantle of being the sorceress and guarding Castle Grayskull and its secrets. That is what she is destined to become. To go on this solo, and yes, we don't know much more than that. But if this is what they want to let people know, Which, if it wasn't that, I think they would have told us something else. And their violence was Snake Man. That you hear that, you see that everywhere. Anything that ever mentions He-Man, you get the same generic, statement. But the plot summary that was emphasized was that of Teela looking for the power sword. I'm not interested in that because even from the story standpoint, that's not her. That shouldn't be something that she's doing at all. And like Nathan said, it may be Prince Adam's catch-up, but that is a very, very uninteresting idea to take out the star of the show just so we could shoe in a story about a strong female lead because you're just doing it to look like you're, saying, well, the He-Man cartoon was quite chauvinistic. It's all about men or some shit like that.
I wouldn't say that it's the cartoon is chauvinistic and it's all about men. It's just that's the where we are now with Hollywood. With the whole Me Too thing and how that came back and bit them in the ass, now they feel like they have to do all this stuff to sort of make up for it and be like, and try to sweep it under the rug. That's the best I can figure. The most I can say here too is maybe that outline for this and Teela's journey is going to lead back into something more and meaningful. It's just you got to take that road to get there. I don't know. Like it's so vague. And there's not anything about there now. Like, I'm not going to sit here and, like, be pissed off about it and whatever, because there's nothing there. Like, yeah, once the trailer drops, if it looks like shit, then, yeah, but there's nothing here right now. There's nothing. There's, like, an image and some words, and that's all there is to it. You can't just immediately write it off when there's basically nothing yet.
Well, it's no different than when we hear about the casting of someone who clearly isn't appropriate for a role or a director who's notoriously bad and makes bad movies. But I'm saying it makes people worry and scared.
Of course
Kevin Smith is not associated with action at all.
But it's stupid that people have the tendency to just jump the gun on it like that. Like look back at Heath Ledger when he got cast as the Joker. That's like the prime example. Or Michael Keaton as Batman. People are like, oh, what the fuck? Wow, this is going to be shitty. And those performances were great, and people look back on them fondly. So you can't just give it some time.
I won't say like the whole Heath Ledger thing is like it's simply because they released the same thing with Thomas Jane, same thing with Heath Ledger. Had they shown you like, okay, this is what he's going to look like, I think that would have been handled a lot differently. I thought that. I mean, that's what I'm saying. I get why people were. I thought it was great. Point being though. Yes, we have not been shown anything concrete on this. But, if Netflix was happy with how She-Ra turned out, it makes me worry that they'll be pushing for more of what made that successful with this. And, I don't associate Kevin Smith with anything like input on what we get. That worries me because I haven't liked anything that guy has done in years. And I thought Clerks 2 was a master of the universe. You ought to feel like the emphasis of getting this show up and running is a He-Man story. It's Prince Adam's journey. It just makes you feel like we're going to be given something that people really are not going to be. I don't know. I just don't think it's a very good direction. It doesn't make me feel too good moving forward.
Anything with the Teela story arc, hopefully it would just be, like I said, it'd be a two-part, like maybe a first couple 2 episodes. But no, that's the thing, Nathan. Like, at least with me, you're right. I wasn't pissing and shitting on people and insulting them. What I'm saying is I can give my first impressions just like anybody can. And when I'm seeing these things, I'm just giving my first thoughts of first how they're describing the show. So it's like I want my voice to be heard in case there's others just like me who might want to say, hey, I hope that's not the direction you're going. It's like that's what we're doing, letting little bits out there to let you know, please don't let it focus on this. You might want to rethink it. But if it's just a quick 2-episode story arc, fine. But when you put it out as saying, this is how it is in case people have never read it, this is the exact screenshot of what they do to describe this new cartoon. A Radical Return to Eternia. Revelation is a direct sequel series to the classic era of Masters of the Universe. Featuring fan favorites He-Man, Orko, Cringer, and Man-at-Arms, the story pits our heroic warriors and guardians of Castle Grayskull against Skeletor, Evil-Lyn, Beastman, and the vile legions of Snake Mountain. But after a ferocious final battle forever fractures Eternia, it's up to Tila to solve the mystery of the missing sword of power in a race against time to prevent the end of the universe. Her journey will uncover the secrets of Grayskull at last. This is the epic He-Man and the Masters of the Universe saga fans have waited 35 years to see. So just seeing that's exactly what was put up there. You might get some people pissed thinking, where are you going? What is this direction? And again, to say this is what we waited for and this is a direct sequel to the series, you bet your ass you're going to have people saying stuff. Now, if they keep it constructive, that's fine. Some people might go nuts about it, but that's just my opinion about it. Like what you're saying right there, it's not giving me much hope. And also, you can sometimes read people's character when they say something thinking, you sound like you don't take the original seriously. And when I was saying that about him, when he's doing the meow reference and talking about Prince Adam and mocking the morals at the end of the show, it's like you don't sound like too big of a fan. Now, again, that's a first impression. I also had a first impression of somebody else who spoke about men and put all men down and also talked about their cartoon. And I think our first impressions of that person was correct as well. So you can get vibes of people, but like I said, it's just when I'm seeing this, it doesn't give you much hope. Now, hey, am I hoping this is one badass cartoon? You bet your ass I am. I hope it would be great because there has been some anime that's crap. There's some crap in the, America with their animation style that's crap. There's also been amazing looking anime, Fist of the North Star and a lot of others. But again, Masters of the Universe, when you hear it, it's always been a cartoon that just didn't seem like it would fit that style. Not saying that style sucks, but it just didn't really fit Masters. So there was concerns on that as well. But again, if this would be great, hell yeah, I'm all behind it. But definitely don't put in, this is what we do not need: propaganda, political messages, stuff about feminism and racism and sexism. That's not what this cartoon's about. It's never been about that. We've always, in fact, when they want to talk about, hey, look, She-Ra, it's all about diversity. Look, there's women and people of other races. I was like, yeah, I never seen females in the original She-Ra and He-Man or people of other races. I was like, you guys aren't bringing anything new. We've had that. But the thing was, when we had it back then, it was all organic and natural and wasn't forced down your throat, as you could see with the message. But when you're trying to deliver it and force that message, something feels funky about it. It's like you're talking about this property, like when they talk about She-Ra, they talk as if She-Ra never had powerful females in diversity, and it was always that. So if they could keep it out of cartoons, that's good.
That's the problem now. That's the main catalyst for this entire thing is we go back and forth on so many things. Like we bring it up infinitely. We brought it up so many times on Capes and Commentaries with Black Panther. They're trying. The agenda with that is like, this is the first black superhero on screen, and like, no, that's horseshit. That's not what it was. It's just that's where they are, and it sucks. I get that, and but it doesn't need to be. Yeah, no. Yeah, I know it doesn't need to be at all. But here's the problem with that: is any little thing. We live in a world now where any tiny little throwaway comment, someone says something, even if it's like not even on air or whatever. If someone gets wind of it, anyone can record anything at any time. Holy shit! Oh my God! Can you believe what they said? Oh, they better apologize. I'm offended. Like that's just the shitty bubble we live in. People can't be creative and do things because, I might do something that might get interpreted a certain way. I'm offended. It's horrible. Like, we kind of go through that on the same thing on the podcast. Obviously, we can't say certain things, and there have been times that we probably wanted to, but then we think better of it because it's like, all right, well, someone's, like, going to be like, well, this really bothered me. So everyone has to walk on eggshells at all times, and at the same time, they want to bring things into the forefront.
That's the one thing, though. Unlike these other properties, He-Man and the Masters of the Universe and She-Ra and the Princess of Power was never like that because it wasn't on Earth, so it avoided that stuff, and you went to a world of fantasy. And again, that's what they're not getting. It's like, you don't have to worry about offending anybody, and plus, we've always had the diversity. We've always done that. That's what I don't understand. They, like you said, in other properties, maybe they think, hey, there's never been a lead black character, which, like, yeah, there was never Meteor Man, there was never Blade, there was never Spawn. There was never the Mantis on TV series or Catwoman. There's been black superheroes. Same thing with female superheroes. But when it comes to Masters and they say, hey, we're finally going to bring diversity, you don't know how much that irritates me. It shows you guys, again, and it shows their age because they're so young, they didn't grow up with Masters. But you know what? They have something that we didn't have when I was growing up, the internet. If you're thinking, I wonder what this She-Ra's like, you click, it's right in front of you at your fingertips. It shows all the history. You can watch it on YouTube, you can read stuff on He-Man.org, and you can realize, my God, this is so diverse. I didn't know they had this. But when they try to put it down your throat saying, we're bringing you diversity finally, I'm like, yeah, we've always had it. Now, can you make a good story, though? No, you can't, because you're trying to do political stuff, which it's not needed in this world of fantasy.
No,
that pisses me off so much.
That's the thing. They just use this as a crutch.
Zen Brown said, I've been making a speech for 3. I can't help it, Zen Brown. It just pisses me off. God, does it piss me off. I can't stand it. I am going to preach. Kevin Sharp's here. He said, preach it.
I think Joe just really likes the She-Ra cartoon. That's why he wants to keep just tossing it in there every episode. I'm just going to keep saying
that's why I don't show that side. It's because I actually have all the She-Ra, all the merchandise that just came out for this cartoon. I made a lot of fan art myself.
Speaking of which, Joe, I actually did take a stroll down that aisle, and it might not be selling too well at your Target, but my Target was actually pretty cleaned out of the She-Ra merchandise.
Yeah, it's probably everybody's trying to hawk them on eBay, thinking they get 5 times the amount, and now they're not selling at 5 times the amount. They just sit there, and then they just sit there, and they can't sell them. I'm not going to say nothing, though. But what's funny is I have seen people do that. They like, oh, my God, look how hot that sells. I'm going to buy them all up and sell them on eBay. Yeah. For one person was selling the 5 figures for over $200, and it just sat there like,
dumb.
Are you really going to try to... Yeah, it's like, don't suck people's money away.
That's really dumb, because I found half of that when I went there. Granted, there were only like one of each, but I found half of those. So maybe I should just sell them on eBay. Anyway,
see, do it. Make at least double. But yeah,
I want to say streams actually, since we restarted, it's been going very well. So you guys just go ahead and go through.
Let's get into our top 10 before we drop out.
And I want to say too, this was a healthy debate. They can't. Neither one of these guys can see me. They can only hear me. It was a healthy debate, and I love you guys. Tyler, I hope I didn't make you too angry.
No, I just, it's just, you start, look, as much as I follow entertainment, movies and animation, things like that, you start to pick up on signs and things that, you know what, you got reason to be scared. You got reasons to be nervous. Like when we saw that Michael Bay was doing Transformers.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. When Michael Bay's attached to Turtles, you got nervous. Steven Summers, the guy who did the shitty Mummy movies, doing G.I. Joe. Yeah. Shit.
No,
I'm just saying, like, look, yes, I get it. And I'm sure a lot of the major players, the He-Man fan community, if they see this video, they'll probably be saying the same thing as you're telling me, right? You haven't seen the trailer. However, there's certain things I look for and pay attention to. Even before I saw the trailer for the Ghostbusters reboot, this is in trouble.
Yeah.
Same thing with the She-Ra Netflix series. This is in trouble. The Turtles, Transformers. I knew it was good. G.I. Joe, Ghost Rider. Those are just a few. Alien versus Predator. A few examples that before I saw the trailer and before I saw the movie, I thought something is not. This is not right. This is not going to turn into what it has all the potential in the world that it could be. And a few times where I thought like that, I was wrong. I can't think of any off the top of my head because the bad outweighs the good in this regard. And I wish I could give you more examples that I was wrong because I'm not ashamed to admit when I am wrong. But things like this worry me that like these guys are not honoring this show. They say they are because they're trying, like any good salesman, you try to say the right things while throwing out a bunch of really shitty jokes. And if the trailer looks great, then I have, like I said before with the She-Ra series, I will apologize and say I was wrong. But I don't like this idea of how they're bringing the show back by not making He-Man a focal character of the show, at least the way they're emphasizing already, at least with what they're selling the people at a hardcore convention based on He-Man and She-Ra. So I get it. And it's not a personal attack on these people. and the people who are writing the shitty multiverse idea for the DC Comics, because the He-Man has existed in the same damn canon. In the 80s, there was no multiverse or no. God Almighty, what a stupid ass idea! Like to say New Adventures He-Man didn't exist with Filmation He-Man, even though that storyline continues. God, morons!
We better get our top 10s before we.
I just want to say before I bounce out of here, before we get into questions, Tyler, I'm there. Like, I get it. I'm just saying, me personally, I'm holding off until we actually see something. I can't, like, Kevin Smith is, like you said,
his work sucks, man. Yes, he's made some really, really good films, but we're talking 20 years ago.
Yeah, he hasn't done anything really well in a while.
And his podcasts aren't funny. He likes to throw in nothing but dick-sucking jokes, and they're not funny. His best friends are funnier than he is on their podcast. He does nothing except trying to work in comb in the mouth, or comb in the ass, dick sucking jokes. Oh man, get it nice, and I'm like,
that you got to stick with it. You got to stick with what works, right?
Jokes into He-Man. He knows better than that.
Well,
at least he acknowledged that when he was asked to write Superman Reborn, where they're thinking like, they're going to have the Clerks guy saying Clerks, how many dicks did you suck, Lois? Like, I think he's aware of that. But I don't know how this guy gets attached to this. That has me worried. And what they're presenting already, like, to them, they may think it's interesting. I just, all right, you know what?
I have a question for you guys, and I'll hang on to it until we get to the questions from.
Yes, and I love you too, Nathan. I love you too, Joe.
Well, God, thanks, man. I sure appreciate you got me right here.
Honestly, to me, it was a good, healthy debate. I can be that middle guy and just say stuff that's going to piss Tyler off, but it also brings out the best in both of you.
Nathan's had a great career in doing that because he enjoys razzing me. But if you razz him about professional wrestling, he can be just as sour as I can be about professional wrestling. So don't think that this is a clash of personalities. I've seen Nathan get just as pissy about a botched ending of a big heavyweight pay-per-view to where he wouldn't talk to anybody.
Why did they decide to go that? It just doesn't make any sense.
He will do that, and he will hold on to it. So it ain't just me here, people. Nathan's just as passionate about certain things, and so is Joe. Yeah. It shows. I mean, I love the dick sucking joke you threw in there.
No, it is. It's good and healthy. I always say that we don't agree on this show all the time, and same thing with people in the chat room or other fans. But it's healthy.
I'm sure they probably think all we do is shit on everything, and I'd like to think that we're closing on 200 episodes of a He-Man based podcast.
It is 200.
Do you really think I want to tune in every week just to shit on stuff? I have much more better things to do with my life. I would rather focus on the good. And not come on here and like, God Almighty, not again.
Yeah, but the chat loves it, man. They love it when you're in.
As long as they're enjoying it, that's fine. But people who are new to this, or maybe they think we're monotonous or repetitive, because my perspective is, it ain't about because I like it better when it was old. I just felt like the stories and the quality was all there, and it has not carried on because.
Wait. But let's say that real quick. And that's another misconception, is that we love everything from the past and hate everything from the present, which we've been critical of stuff from the past. And also, MYP, that is a great way of bringing back He-Man and doing something. We didn't piss all over MYP, and you enjoyed that as well. So it's not like we hated MYP when it came out. So it's just good points to bring up. And one quick other thing, Nathan, or real quick, you spoke of wrestling. I don't know if you've seen it, but damn it, Bray Wyatt as The Fiend had one badass entrance. I was like, I haven't been excited. But, you seen that? I was like,
well, here's the thing. Like, they built it up with the Firefly Funhouse thing, and those are great and fun. It maybe went a little long because people are like, we want to see him on TV, and that's what you want. But it was starting to reach that point of like, well, let's get him on TV. The perfect thing about this, and I hope they he doesn't need to be on every show. Let him show up.
Don't milk it, yeah.
And I love the fact that they gave him the mandible claw, because that's something that you can put on anybody. Despite
because Sister Abigail was, because sometimes Sister Abigail looked kind of funky, but you're right, anybody of any size, now he has something that puts him out, so just a cool-ass theme, they redid his original.
The mask looks cool, the theme music's pretty good, I like the effects that they do. Now, I think they can, and they can play around with the balance of him going from The Fiend back to like Funhouse Bray Wyatt. That's like, haha,
Yeah.
like all happy and stuff. But
Just had to bring that up. It was badass. So what did you have for us, Nathan? You had a question for us before we get going on our top 10?
No, I'll save that for the question portion when we get to the chat. You guys need to go ahead and get to your topics.
All right. Let Tyler start so you do something to get him a little bit happy. Go ahead.
At this point, I'm just dragging my feet into this, what should be a very prestigious moment here because of.
He's like, here's my top 10.
Oh God,
Tyler's
Tyler's shit on like a new attempted He-Man. What else is new? He hates on everything that's not old. Blah blah blah. Shit.
He's like, I don't want to do my top 10 now. He's like, let's do fan questions and stuff. Did you want to save the top 10 for
honestly, before we did the podcast, like I was tagged in this stuff and I'm like, I don't give a shit. Because it's gonna suck anyway. But when we get on and start talking about it, that's when I start getting razzed up about it. Like, all the posts for Origins, like, I don't care. The Battle Cat, the Battle Cat, no particular. I don't care. Oh, a new He-Man cartoon, whatever. A new comic book, I don't give a rat's ass, man. And then we get on and start talking about it, and then I'm like, I want blood, So.
Well, do you want to hold your top 10 to next week, and we can just go right to fan questions right now? What's your thought?
God, we've only been talking for a little over an hour.
About an hour and 20 minutes.
Okay. Oh well. I mean, I've got them here. I just.
Yeah, well, you can at least read them off. You've been wanting to give everybody your top 10, your definitive top 10.
Yeah.
He doesn't want to do. No, don't do it.
I really had a lot of enthusiasm for this topic, and I just felt so deflated because.
Well, wait.
Nathan's calling me a negative Nancy, and people are like pooping on me, or I feel like they're going to.
Look at it like this. Next week we got Kevin Sharp, and I know Kevin loves this Filmation as well. Maybe he can even be a part of that, and he can give his top 10, and it can make it a little more enticing and fun. Let's just save it. Next week, our top 10, and also Kevin Sharp's top 10. It'd be a little fun, along with talking about other random stuff. So, yeah,
okay.
Yeah. So right now, Nathan, tell everybody in the chat room if they have any questions for us. Post the questions right now. We'll get to those so we can at least have them all, at least while the stream is still on. Did we lose Nathan?
I think he was assuming we're going to be talking about this for a while. So.
Well, now I'm going to look. Okay, well, guys, if you have any, it's like they're like, I don't know what to ask with all the shit that happened today. If we go back to that, but any. No, I'd be too cheap. Or Zen Brown said Tyler's too cheap for a lap dance. Where did that come from? So they must have been talking about something. Fedmon said, maybe we can get Tyler. Oh, Fedmon said, maybe we can get Tyler a gift card. Do strip clubs do gift cards for lap dance? Or he says, do strip clubs do gift cards for lap dances? And that's when Zen Brown said Tyler's too cheap for a lap dance. And Zen Brown said, at Tyler, your least. Okay, what are your least favorite new adventure characters? Because we know you really love the cartoon, but if you were to pick maybe a few of your maybe least favorites.
The Scientist, all four of them.
Yeah, that might have been an obvious one. I think that was so obvious.
Yeah, you don't have to think hard about that one because I love all the Galactic Guardians and all the mutants. And I like Master Sebring, Drissi, excuse me. What's that?
Maybe that's what he was getting at. Maybe if you could pick from, the mutants and also the Guardians or whatever.
Oh, I don't have one. I think they're all awesome. They may not have like the best, interpretation of the cartoon, but the characters themselves, like, no, I don't think that there's not a weak link in that chain. And I say that genuinely. I mean, all of them, I think all the heroes are great and all the villains are great. I don't see one that like roll my eyes at, and because I wasn't exposed to a lot of them as a kid. I only got to see a couple of them, and as I got older and got to see a little bit more of them, like, oh, he looks cool. He looks cool too. So, no,
I guess for me, I could do it easy just because, like you said, like same thing with Masters of the Universe. I don't look at any of these characters, figures, whatever, being worthless, but like Stratos, I could say Stratos is my least favorite good guy. Doesn't mean I think he sucks, because I know he is very useful to the team. And of course, just having the ability to fly, and in the cartoon shooting out the energy, out of his hands. And I think he even did that in the mini comics. The toy wasn't that fascinating for me, but I guess for me, with at least if I would say something about Master Universe, Stratos. But I don't hate him, like you said. It's not that I hate the guy, but let's see, Zentron.
Wait, hang on. So you guys aren't doing the topics? I muted it, and
we're gonna save it to. Nope, we're going to save it to next week with Kevin Sharp's top 10 as well. So we'll just keep that for a good fun episode.
What the fuck?
What the fuck? So Mike Shamp said, "Who's your favorite evil character of all time?" That's kind of tricky. There's so many damn good evil characters.
Yeah,
Wow. I'm just trying to.
I kind of feel like that's I'd probably have to say live action Skeletor.
Okay, me, I would just go with Beastman, just because I mean, he was my first figure I ever had. I played the hell out of him, but I loved how he looked in the mini comics, and I loved how he was in the cartoon as well. I got a little upset how he became such a lackey later on, but just seeing how he was presented, I was like, that's one ferocious looking sucker, and I'm gonna go with Beastman. Just maybe just sentimental reasons, but okay. And you said movie Skeletor?
Yeah.
Okay. Let's see. Zentron said Krita was his favorite, I guess. Zentron said Krita. Well, I guess. Well, what about maybe your favorite New Adventures character, evil or heroic, if you had a favorite?
Karate from the Evil Mutants and KO from the Galactic Guardians were always my two favorites. Yeah.
I just love Sagittar. I don't know what it is. I always thought he was just one big badass sucker, or look-at sucker, and I love the figure. It was the one figure that I was like, man, it looks like he could fit right in with Masters of the Universe figure.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
I think they all could. I mean, it's a shame that Classic's been stopped because I think if people had seen Artella and Lizor and Nocturna and Visor and Hoove, I mean,
there's an appreciation for him now. I dreaded and hated those figures as a kid, but now as an adult, I'm like, pretty damn cool. They all had their own original, unique sculpts. It wasn't the same buck used over and over. So, really, you got to respect that. So,
yeah, I mean, I like to think I'm ahead of my time. I'm appreciating things that people just now start like. It's the same thing with Nathan. Nathan would give me shit about liking music from the '80s and older shows. And he's like, this is stupid shit. And next thing you know, he's either downloaded this music, or listening to this music, or watching this show, or buying that show, or he's showing support for things that I'm ahead of my time. What can I say? I saw potential where it was, and I see where things are completely flawed too.
You've seen the future. See, just a good vibe for things. All right. Chris Owens says, "What is your favorite mini comic?"
This guy must be new to the podcast.
We already know it begins with it's gonna be the Clash of Arms.
Clash of Arms, everybody. We've done multiple discussions on Clash of Arms in terms of like top 3 mini comics, top 5.
And if you haven't read that, Chris Owens, if you haven't read that in a while, read it. It is a fantastic comic.
Yeah,
illustrated by Larry Houston. Just beautiful. Like, you don't even have to read. I mean, you don't have to read it. You can just look like he says, you tell the story with the images. It's just intense. Like I said, you get to see Fisto in some good battles, but y'all get to see Whiplash and other characters. Man, I love seeing Whiplash in there too. But now, I'm gonna get sidetracked.
I want to say to the listeners, I'm leaving this up to you because my spirits are quite depleted after that shitty conversation we had earlier. So I'm leaving it up to you to ask some uplifting questions to boost my spirits here. I would rather not get off here on a sour note and drag my ass to bed, kind of like. So
now this is me because I didn't watch every episode of New Adventures, so I might not know them all. Mike Shamp said his favorite evil character of all time, and I don't know if he just means Beyond Masters, but he said it's somebody named Zark. Do you know who Zark is with a Z?
Not right off. I don't know the characters, like the cartoon based characters that thorough.
Okay, because I didn't know if he was specifically referring to New Adventures or anything. Hopefully he'll clarify in the comments, because then under him, Curtis Ackerman just mentioned some of his favorite evil characters of all time in general. He said Skeletor, Mumra, Monstar, Megatron, Cobra Commander, which I can understand.
No, we didn't ask anything like that. He just starts shoehorning like random events. You can't acknowledge that.
Now Curtis is going to message you on Facebook. He's like, fuck off then, Tyler. But let's see. Kevin Sharp, he's laughing. He's like, so Tyler can cuss me because of my choices suck for next week for his top 10. Yeah, we look forward to your top 10, Kevin Sharp.
Oh, I assume I figured Kevin's gonna say I have a top 10 because he doesn't know top 10 episodes or something like that. No, I'll be curious. Like, Kevin, yes, this is part of your homework. I need you to, we will need you to come up with your top 10 episodes. And no, I mean, because unless he's going to pick like the Star Child just to spite me or piss me off or something like that, or a notoriously bad episode. Like if he picks, like Greatest Show in Eternity, and he just like starts laughing or something like Kevin, all right, you're done. You're off.
We'll be curious to see what he does give.
Yeah.
All right. Zentron said, your least favorite voice from any of the shows. And I don't know if he means any of the Masters and Princess of Power. I'm assuming that's what you mean.
You're gonna get more specific than that. I mean, I hated Clawful's voice. And Spikeore's was bad. Two Bads was bad. Mossman's was and it wasn't great.
Mechanics had to change for the
Mechanics
worst.
kept changing. It went from absolutely wonderful in Dissipating Dragons to it was okay in Search for a Song, and then in like Here There Skeletons Everywhere, he has like this really high pitched whiny voice. God, it was terrible.
I was never a fan of Bill Cosby as Buzz Off either. Just did not like that much. So that's. Did you see the look, everyone? I hope you guys can see that.
Remind me, I have a hate crime to perform on you later on, Joe.
I do. I always save that one. I gotta save it with the Bill Cosby as the Buzz Off. So, Jabber DG said, now that Classics and Club Grayskull is on hold, when and if it returns, what would be your next wave for each?
Club Grayskull. Go ahead.
Okay, yeah. I mean, I would love to see Garns. I'd love to see and of course, see that's the thing. The other one, the Classics one, that can include mini comic versions, right? So if I wanted the Garn from the mini comic, okay, because I would love both Garns. I think that would just be a genius and beautiful move for when you had both waves, you had both Garns represented. I'd love to have both those damn figures.
That would be very cool. I mean, for me, I would want to use Club Grayskull to get characters that are not just variants of,
Get Malactha! Give us Malactha!
I would use that to give us some Malactha, a Lord Tyrann, Lady Valtera, Azrog, and Spydra. Characters that are original characters. They're not like, not that they wouldn't look cool, but I feel like use that to give us Filmation-based characters from both He-Man and She-Ra, and use Collector's Choice to give us the all over the place characters where you would get Garn from the comic, Prince Daikon, and things like that. So that's what I would want to see is those more unique characters. I don't need any more variants. They look great, but I don't need them. So yeah, I would want to see characters like that in that one. And as for the Collector's Choice, if I to get more New Adventures characters, to get like Hoove and KO put in there. Garn would be awesome. Prince Daikon. There's 4. There you go.
Okay. All right. Yeah, I'd love every one of them. If I had the money, I'd definitely get them too. But maybe by the time they return, maybe I will. Let's see. Oh, Fedmon says Dark Horse is doing a vintage toy guide for Masters of the Universe and Princess of Power. He said, what are your thoughts on that? Yeah, that's one thing I didn't know what it all entailed. Like, are they just showing the guide for just classics, or is it going to be for the vintage line in the 80s and New Adventures and classics in 2000X? Did you hear what that's covering, Tyler? Because it sounds cool for those who do need a toy guide. It's a great move to do that.
I wasn't even aware they were doing it. I mean, I kind of feel like there's other things that could be doing that other than just, all the stuff's available on He-Man.org to view for free. I kind of feel like a toy guide is kind of pointless. It just, you want to pay $30 to see pictures of stuff you can see on He-Man.org for free?
Well, I guess it depends on what kind of quality pictures and the things covered. Like, what if they're showing a lot of the international stuff? People do. I could see it. It does sound like a pretty cool book. Plus, I think that book, just to let you know, the compendium guide, it's like, what do they call that word? It's like an extra part of the compendium guide of characters that weren't in the original book. That's going to be, I think they said, coming with this toy guide, if I'm not mistaken. And then I thought they said you could order it up on the PowerCon website. I just want to make sure I'm not screwing that up. But I thought they said you could get that either separate or with it. And I'm going to have to look into that because I don't want to screw it up, what I'm telling everybody. Especially with now I can finally say, which I couldn't say for the longest. But I was part of that compendium guide that they just are going to be releasing, this new one with added characters and new stuff and information.
Oh, no wonder you're saying it's a great thing.
He's like, oh, no wonder why. Otherwise, Joe's like,
yeah. Hey, look, Joe's turning into Kevin Smith all of a sudden.
No,
Yeah,
I meant,
plugging his own shit and saying all these things. Oh no, it's great, it's wonderful, man. I love Revenge of the Sith. It was like the darkest of all the prequels, man.
Who shit, who was it from Ain't It Cool?
Oh yeah, Harry Knowles.
Harry
He
Knowles.
thought everything was
yeah,
great.
Everything was fantastic. Yeah.
Yeah, everybody at JoeBlow.com, they think everything is great. No movie comes out. All movies are great. They don't suck. That's what Kevin Smith is. Everything in his eyes is
dude,
great.
Like when you're on a website and like you become this entity, that's what happens because you have sponsors and people you have to answer to. So eventually, when we get sponsored by like Dollar Tree or something, we're gonna have to be like, "Hey man, everything, yeah, it's great. I love it."
Yeah, I really was not whoring myself there, just to let you know. But yeah, I was part of the compendium book that'll be coming out. So they finally were able to announce that. I didn't even know about the toy guide, so that's why I have to read this information about like how it's available. Is it just with the toy guide or separate? Because yeah, I didn't know they're gonna announce it. So I just had to say that. And Jeff Prime said howdy.
I was gonna say I think it's cool just because you want to put stuff out there to the masses that will sort of draw in the person that's like, well, I have a vague memory of this, and it will give them more knowledge. And isn't that what the whole point of this is to attract people to the property, smarten them up, and then they can start their own podcast and shit on everything.
Yeah, and start talking about. You remember that? My favorite episode is when Skeletor said "yeah." I mean, that was my favorite episode. Like the Cat and Dipshit number 3. What was your favorite episode? Oh, one episode where they said He-Man was gay. I thought that was brilliant, man. I mean, it was just my favorite episode of all time. How about you, asshole number 4? What was your favorite episode? I don't know, man. What's a He-Man?
Tyler. Hey, let's go ahead and tell the story about Collector's Lair yesterday. Tyler was wearing the tank top with the design that Joe actually you provided that he put on there. We were in there and there was a guy in the store that was like, "Hey man, like your tank top, Tyler. You can go ahead and tell the rest of this." And this happens every time we go somewhere too. And Tyler's like, "Why do they always pick me?" Because like when they start talking to him, I just walk away.
Because he knows I'm doing something I don't want to be doing.
Yeah, and it's great. I can just watch from a distance and just smile and laugh at him. So this happened.
You like putting him in an uncomfortable position?
Yes,
is that what you mean?
Yeah, like the back of a Volkswagen. And I told Tyler when he asked me,
that's like, a Kevin Smith quote. Just so
I'm full circle. When this happened, Tyler afterwards, Tyler's like, Why do they always pick me and start talking to me? I'm like, well, you seem nicer, like you're bigger, so you draw more attention. People are looking at your muscles, like I'm gonna talk to that guy, and then me, the scrawny dude, just ventures off somewhere else to point and laugh at him later on. But yeah, go ahead, Tyler. Tell him the story.
Yeah, so the guy, he's like, yeah, I love, He-Man was awesome. I was like, I don't know who the other guy was, and I said, it's Cobra Khan. He just looks at me. He goes, the guy you would put water inside him and squirt his head and water would come out. Oh, yeah, I don't know who that is. I only know He-Man only fought was Skeletor. I'm like, yeah, Skeletor. My friend, he does a great Skeletor impression. I'm like, oh, that's great. Yeah, I do a great impression of Stitch from Lilo and Stitch.
Wait,
Lilo and Stitch?
Yeah, but he was like, have you ever seen Lilo and Stitch? And Tyler's like, yeah, I saw it like a long time ago. He's like, I do the impression of Stitch. I've been practicing it for years, and I'm just standing there looking at the wall of G.I. Joe. It's like, holy shit. And Tyler's just being as nice as he can.
He was with the kid from A Christmas Story who went up and said, "You like the Wizard of Oz? I like the Tin Man." Oh, poor Tyler. That must have been great. Oh, Jesus. What else?
However, I did not, because a lot of times I get stuck having to humor shit like this.
Oh, it's so great.
I gradually just kept walking. I kept walking further and further away because I was not going to give this guy the opportunity to do that high pitched squeaky voice that Stitch does.
Yeah, Tyler's like, "Oh yeah, you must have worked really hard on that," and I'm just like, he's gonna do this. He's gonna puke. I'm like, this impression is coming. Meanwhile, Emily is also with us and walking in the store, and I make eye contact with her from about 15 feet away, and I just have this big shit-eating grin on my face. I'm like, this is perfect. Tyler's uncomfortable. I know he is. This is fantastic. But he didn't do the impression, and just went about his merry
Well, because
way.
I was out of his peripheral vision by the time he was saying he worked on it for years, so he couldn't see me, and my back was away.
Tyler ended up in his freezer.
I'm sorry, I don't know if the poor guy was slow or something like that. I don't know, and I was not in the mood to sit here and have him do this impression in front of the other workers who probably didn't give a shit anyway.
And have probably already heard it and been like, "Why is he doing this?" He does this to everybody that comes in the store. It's hard to tell.
Yeah, it takes it takes a lot to impress me and make me feel like that was really cool. It really does, because I've spent so much of my free time in my life watching movies and cartoons and TV shows in my spare time. I'm used to a certain level of quality in entertainment, and I don't settle for less. So I'm not going to sit and say, would you like to come on my podcast and do that impression?
But sometimes it's very simple to impress him when he's like, "Hey, over there, you remember what that used to think?" No. And he just dies laughing for like 10 minutes.
What?
When we were on the way back and we got on the on-ramp, you're like, "Hey, you remember when that store used to be over there?" I was like, "No."
Yeah, because, a lot of times Nathan just has such lack of enthusiasm for a lot of stuff in general. I asked him if he remembered a best department store that used to be in Running. He goes, "No." And because
and then
of that
started
attitude
just like,
towards me, like he was so dismissive of what I asked him, and that's what made it so funny. I'm looking at it in a way that Nathan's not even thinking; he's thinking out of his ass. I'm thinking that's humor. That's quite good. That would make for great, smart, sitcom stuff.
I'm like,
but instead he just thinks I'm like, he's just laughing because I said no. Like, what a moron! Like, you don't understand. No, I'm seeing something here that you clearly. I'm looking at art, and Nathan's thinking I'm looking at smears of paint on the canvas.
I mean, you do like Seinfeld after all, and that's just smears.
Well, and you like Freaks and Geeks. I think it's the greatest thing of all time.
I feel like Tyler and I have been arguing a lot on this show today.
No, you haven't. Oh. Hey,
me and Joe have argued plenty of times. I guess it's only natural that me and Nathan would duke it.
Well, he's thinking about my skull, everybody. We actually we argued about the weather when we were in the car to go look at toys at Walmart before we even went to this store. I was just like, damn, man, it's hot and it's humid and it's muggy and it sucks because it's like high 90s. He's like, I love it, man. And I'm like, I just wish it'd be a little bit cooler. He's like, I don't like that winter shit. I hate it when it snows. I'm like, that's not what I was talking about. I was like, if you just...
You guys have done that, I think, on the podcast before. I think you've actually had that conversation.
And I hate talking about the weather.
A good 70, 75, like, it's comfy. And Tyler's like just thinking I'm over here like Mr. Snowman. I'm like Michael Keaton and Jack Frost. I'm ready for it to snow. I love Christmas. And it's like, no,
I'm really hot-blooded. I like always. I'm always on fire, as you know. Even with this mask, it's just been pouring the whole time again. But hey, Jeff Prime said howdy. Paul Rizzo said, would Tyler play He-Man in a movie?
Yeah,
he said,
absolutely.
You got a He-Man looking vibe. So, oh God, of course he'd want to do that.
I would take no salary to play He-Man in a live-action film. You could dub over my voice. I'll go on the craziest diet, but just allow me to play He-Man. Yes, I would do that in a heartbeat.
I think we would
Absolutely.
all collectively vomit.
Well, Nathan would, because he wouldn't want to admit that they actually cast someone who knows what they're doing to play the role of He-Man. Because that would have to admit that Tyler's doing something.
Yeah, well, here's the thing. But here's the thing, though. Like, if they were to cast you, then you have to play by their rules. So if they're like, all right, well, you got to crack a joke right here, then you'd have to do it. It's the whole, like, dance, puppet, dance. And you would have to do it. That's the thing that you don't think about. If they cast you as He-Man, you would have to do everything exactly as they told you to do.
A good actor can take a shitty line and make something out of it. I'm not saying I'm an actor, but in terms of how I've studied how He-Man acts and behaves, I feel like, unless it's clearly like talking like, he's from the streets or talking like some sort of Fast and Furious bullshit. Sorry, Nathan. No one could sell that.
Hey, man, after Fast 5, those films are fun. Everything before
Oh,
everything.
I'm glad you enjoy that, along with the
everything
rest of the
before it
trendy
is
folks
shit.
that's in this film.
I still gotta watch G.I. Joe Retaliation, by the way. I keep putting it
He
off.
says
Nathan,
it
when
just
you said-
to antagonize
Yep.
me.
Yeah, and Nathan, when you said dance, puppet dance, and you laughed, were you referring to Jeffrey from The Fresh Prince when he did that, or no? I thought that was a Fresh Prince.
no.
Only Joe is going to go towards a show about black people. They're like, were you quoting a show about? Like, the next thing, were you quoting, Carl Winslow from Family Matters?
No, that's all that came into my mind was Jeffrey. I didn't know if that was a movie quote or if that was Fresh Prince, because
No.
I've never heard that anywhere else.
No.
Okay.
All
All
right,
right, well.
I was gonna say dance monkey dance, but it didn't seem appropriate.
Oh, okay. All right.
Joe's like, all right,
Kevin Sharp
moving
said, Kevin Sharp at Tyler, and this is from Kevin Sharp, said, "What's your favorite comedy?" He says, "If it features Pauly Shore, turn over your man card to Kevin Smith." So, what's your favorite comedy?
Well, no, my favorite comedy is The Burbs. It's a toss between Burbs and Dumb and Dumber.
It's kind of like a dark comedy too, The Burbs, but it's a great movie.
To me, The Burbs, like, if you've seen it, it's like a secret handshake, because if someone says they've seen it and they tell you have, you immediately connect because you know what's quotable, why it's good. You don't have to explain anything. You just start spouting lines from the movie, and it's been like that. But from people who were many years younger than me to people around my age or even older, if they say they've seen The Burbs, it's I get you and you get me, and it's all said without being said because of The Burbs.
I think it's streaming on Prime Video right now. So if you guys haven't seen it, check it out on Prime Video.
It's a movie I always loved when it rained, or like when you'd have a day off. It just seemed like just a great movie to watch. Like, same thing with Goonies. When it rains, I just love it if the Goonies is on. I don't know. You get some of those weird kind of.
Well, just so you know, Kevin, the way you praise Chris Pratt, you got no grounds to be telling me I got to turn over my man card to Kevin Smith because I like Encino Man.
Hey,
so,
Kevin, if you want to, I know Tyler paid you a part of the commission they want you to do. If you just want to turn that over and give me another one, I'll be more than happy to take it. You guys hit up Kevin Sharp. I hit him up for that commission idea that I had been stewing on for a while. I'm like, now's the time. He's like, all right. Sent me a layout of it. It looks fantastic. Even Tyler is pumped about it.
Oh God, yeah. It got me thinking too. I figured Kevin, because he's doing something else for me now, but I'm like, after that, Kevin ought to draw me as Johnny Cage in an 8x10, and I could sign it to my biggest fan, Johnny. And give it to Nathan.
Man, no, I told Tyler this in the car yesterday. I was like, for Halloween, just be Johnny Cage, and we can take a picture of you in the pose with that on there, and you can sign everyone, and we'll just go around because we live near a college town too, and just start handing out 8x10s. And just see what happens. That would be fantastic.
Yeah, it would be awesome. Joe's like, okay, back to Fresh Prince.
No, that's fine. Zentron said, "What's your favorite vehicle from New Adventures?" For me, I never collected any of them back then, and I still don't own any. So I don't know, Tyler. I have nothing there.
Probably the Terror Claw was always an interesting looking, and the I forgot what the name of the jet that the mutants fly around in. The flying pod.
Is that the Bolo jet? Oh, okay.
No, the Bolo jet was what the Guardians flew, but the flight pods that the mutants.
Do you own any of the vehicles still now? Any of them?
I just have an Astra Sub that my buddy Matt Sterner hooked me up with. I didn't have any of the vehicles as a kid.
I thought about getting Tyler the Eternia.
Starship Eternia looks amazing. Yeah. So does Nord.
I thought about getting him that, but I didn't know if he had much of an interest. So
is Nordor the one with the hologram?
I do have Nordor. I bought it dirt cheap on eBay years ago before Joe came on the scene and stole my thunder and popularity. Not that I ever had to begin with. But see, Joe, I was collecting this stuff while you were stealing books from girls and hiding in bathroom stalls.
Pretty much. And I know that Nordor goes pretty pricey. So does Starship Eternia. So that's cool. You have.
Starship was super expensive at that time, but for whatever reason, Nordor was pretty damn cheap. I think maybe around the $30 mark. It was complete, came with everything.
Super.
It was really cheap, but this was early 2000s when I got that.
Oh,
so yeah.
Okay, well, you got a hell of a deal.
Yeah, I did. I got a couple good deals.
Yeah, back when eBay used to be good, and people didn't realize the value of the shit that they had.
Yeah, but now they try to sell anything on there for super expensive prices, even things that are missing parts and armor and legs, like $40. This is a He-Man
Oh
figure.
God.
Yeah, but he doesn't have the sword, doesn't have the armor, doesn't have the axe.
I hate that. I absolutely hate how they think that they can just base it. It goes with, excuse me, anything like vintage, like video games especially. Like there was a point in time when you could get NES games and Super Nintendo games for dirt cheap in the early 2000s. And now it's like people start to get smart to it, and they watch stuff on YouTube or whatever, and they're like, "Oh, well, this game, it's trending as buy it now for $59.99." But that one was in good shape. Mine's missing the label. It's got like turds in the fucking the chip. Oh yeah, it's $75.
Yeah, no, that is definite. All right, let's see. Papa Hood 69.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Well,
he's doing it. He's rushing along. I got to get to what Papa Shango says in the chat room. He says his favorite Fresh Prince character was Uncle Carl.
I feel bad because I really do, because they just to let you guys know, they both say, like, Joe, sometimes you'll just dismiss us both like, whatever, and move on to the. I swear I didn't mean to do it. It's not like I.
And yet he does it every episode. Yeah. He may not do it. I guess that he just
Yeah.
I swear I don't mean to do it. I swear I don't.
Joe, I will bring up something from the chat. Curtis Akerman said the video has been amazing since you guys came back, Nathan. It'd
be nice if we could stay
it's OBS, and I'm gonna throw out an idea because I read this. What if, because it seems to me that when we start it, there's a rough start, but when I stop it after a period of time and restart it, it's fantastic. So what if we kind of do a bit of a pre-show? Work out the kinks a little bit. We just sit here and kind of like BS with the chat and kind of hang out with them, and then I'll stop the stream if it's being kind of crummy and restart it and go from there, because if I do the audio for the podcast, then I can just know where I'm going to clip it, and I can do it from there and be a lot easier. So we'll try that. We'll try that out, because if it's going to be kind of crummy at the beginning, then we can hang out with you guys. We'll take more questions than what we usually do, or we'll just BS and talk about whatever, and then I'll stop it and restart it, and we'll have a proper show.
Okay. That sounds fine. I like that idea.
All right.
Papa Hood 69 said favorite first season 1 He-Man episode. Mine, I love Dawn of Dragoon. So that would be my favorite.
Dragon's Gift.
Okay. Hey, well, they got a dragon in ours. They're somewhat of a dragoon. All right, and Kevin Sharp says, I know I'm just poking a little fun at you. And Zen Brown said, so I'm guessing nobody from Netflix She-Ra showed up at PowerCon? Oh, yeah, there was some of the writers who, again, almost like how I said earlier, like to shove it in your face that it was 5 or 6 white girls all wearing jackets saying, She-Ra, she wrote. I thought it was about diversity, and all I have is 6 white girls. No people of any color, and no men. Yeah, that's diversity for you. If you want diversity, go back and look at the people who wrote for Filmation. You'll see men and women and people of all races. No, really. You go to Filmation, and you see the writers and the people who did animation and did all stuff on that. You'll see people of all races, and you'll see men and women. That's diversity. No, I'm not going to get started again.
But no, that's what it boils down to. Like, God, at the end,
getting angry.
At the end of the day, honestly, like, who gives a shit what color anybody is? Like,
that's how it was. It always was like that for He-Man and She-Ra, and they're focusing in such a different way.
We're all.
You got to get off this. I'm gonna get mad.
Well, with them thinking like that, and it's no wonder why they wrote such a shit show cartoon.
Well, dude, like, we're all human beings. Like, we all have the same parts and everything. It's like, I don't give a shit what
color somebody is. It's like, who cares?
Exactly. I don't care what color you are.
We're people.
I don't care what color you are, what you believe in, your sexual orientation. Like, who honestly, who gives a shit? Just write a good story and, like, draw your audience in. Oh my! What
Right,
a
just make a
concept!
good ass story,
Holy
draw
shit.
something good, have some good adventures, some stories, and
Yes.
leave just the shit out of it. Because in all context and life and everything, we just all want to live and have fun. We don't
Yes.
care about crap. So you're right,
Life
Greg.
is too short to concentrate on any of this
Yeah.
dumb
What a
horseshit.
horrible life. Could you imagine just spending your whole life just always just dwelling in negativity like that and just not just enjoying things in life and just be fun, enjoy stuff. At least when we're being negative, we're just doing it at each other here back and forth, but it's still being healthy. But it's not like we just fester on shit. Oh God, this just sucks and I want to talk about it all the time. Hell, I want to have fun.
Right.
I want to go
Yeah.
eat, want to go watch some movies, want to go out and get some fresh air. All right, we got to get to something else.
I didn't think you left the house, Joe.
Yeah, exactly. I'm just sculpting all day and making fucking Photoshops and printing out my custom money that I have that I'll be selling that you guys can check on my wall anytime you
Oh, there
MOTU
we go. Well, Joe, do you have a specific place that you're going to be selling these dollar bills, or...
You just go to my wall and I'll be posting other groups, and I've gotten a lot of orders. It takes a lot of ink. So and the ink, it ain't like the old days when I would get my one printer. I could sit there and it was a universal ink cartridge that had color and black ink, and it was, I think, $20. Oh no, not now. Now that you have to get the new printers, you got to get individual ink cartridges, and by the time you're done spending all of them, it's over $50. So it's not like I'm becoming, hey, Joe's making tons of money on the bills. I'm getting basically just enough to keep printing them. A little bit of profit, of course, because you got to for your time and effort. But so you can go to my wall.
Open up an Etsy store, man.
Oh, I got a Josie store. It's right there on Facebook. You can go there anytime. It does great. But thank you for that, Nathan. I appreciate it. I love
dismissive of Nathan's suggestion, too.
Like, sorry about that.
Joe, as much as he plays the humble card, he clearly is above all of us in his eyes. I mean, in his eyes, there are people carrying his ass around from all over the place like he's a damn pharaoh or something like that.
No, it's not like I said. I love
Joe. He's got like this beautiful woman throwing grapes.
I was gonna say, Joe, who's feeding you grapes, man? Are we hanging out by the apple tree again? Is that what we're doing?
I'm not mean. I'm nice to you, both of you guys.
Unless
Mike
we're talking about Steven Seagal's The Patriot, right?
Oh, here we go. Mike Champ said, would you love to see a collection on all the comics that were international plus the German audiobooks? Oh, yeah, God. If they put all those international, like the UK stuff from the comics to their annuals that they had, if they were able to translate all the German stories into English and even put that into, a comic book, I'd freak out if they had that stuff.
Yeah, why can't we get that in comic book form as opposed to the shit that DC's throwing out? Why can't we get good stuff? Why do we got to get stuff that some asshole's like, I got an idea?
Now that kind of draws up the question that I want to ask both of you guys when you went to the chat stuff. Based off of what has been revealed and what's coming up, and like your hesitation on everything, what ultimately, like, what do you guys want from this? Because at the end of the day, like, you got to think of, God, we go back to Netflix She-Ra again. If it's something that's like entirely new, then you guys would most likely shit on it. But if it's too familiar, then it'd be like, well, they didn't take enough of a chance. So, like, what do you want?
Well, they did it right with, like, for an example, with MYP. That's a perfect example of taking established stories and canon, and while taking that stuff, also making some of the stuff your own, and still delivering unique stories each week without it being a constant continuity. They've made acknowledgments to things that, yes, would happen, and yes, they did have some story arcs here and there, but they updated the art, animation, stories, backgrounds of the characters, and they did it perfectly. And that's all you have to do. And when it comes to She-Ra, that's what we're envisioning, is taking that same type of logic that they did with MYP and applying it to a new She-Ra cartoon. But they went so vastly in so many different directions of making them 10 to 13-year-old kids, getting rid of all the fantasy element out of it, getting rid of the power of the character of She-Ra herself as being almost irrelevant, secondary, and not even being called She-Ra. They just really dropped the ball. So if you could have just took the stories that we knew, at least the canon, and yeah, try to, like, okay, now we're going to make it to where the animation looks better, the art looks better, the stories are better. But they unfortunately failed on every one of those levels. The art is not better. The animation isn't. The stories aren't. It's like, okay, I got grounded. Oh, I'm not good enough for this person. Oh, this person's mad at me. It's like, I don't want real life situations and drama and relationships. They are doing this because they say that is what kids want, which no, I don't believe that. And it's unfortunate. So, yeah, just do how they did with MYP and plenty of other cartoons where you could just sit there and take established canon, make it, better, and also respect what was given to them.
And that's like the hard part to balance, especially nowadays, because we're getting more and more of stuff that all of us enjoyed and ingested like 30, 25, 20 years ago. And Hollywood is wanting to, like, well, yeah, these guys are older now, they have kids, let's push us out. And we kind of reached the phase of like the Marvel films where it's like it started off okay, and it gradually catered to more of a broader audience, which brought more people in, which is what you want to do, but it also turns off the hardcore fan. So that's why I posed the question, because it's that shitty balance that you have to find nowadays to make things successful. Because if we just stick to a certain formula and appeases to most of the masses from the past, then that's not a guarantee that it will be successful. And when you go...
But we're at least the audience that if you do focus more towards us... Now, again, I'm not saying it's not wrong to try to bring in new fans.
Right.
Of course, that's great. But if you're going to focus basically on the new fans, and they immediately, like, say, oh, I'm not really into it, and you then pissed off the original fans by either disrespecting them or their property and mocking it, you've not only not got the new focus on the new fans, but the fans that you should have been targeting towards weren't there to begin with. You pissed them off, you insulted them, you're not there. So you failed. So at least try to respect and make sure that the original fans definitely please them first while trying to bring in the new ones. But we're the ones that are always going to stay there to support it, as given with the classics and everything else. We have supported this line with no cartoon, no nothing, no advertisements. It's us hardcore fans that have been supporting classics for over 10 years now. Yeah. That shows the level of dedication. So we're going to always be here if you treat our property with respect. The stuff that we loved and we've cared about and kept alive in Facebook groups, websites, and every other part of social media. Just respect the fans and what they love, and we'll definitely always be there for you. Just don't shit all over us and treat us like we're irrelevant or the original stuff is irrelevant, because that's not a good way to bring in any new fans or to please fans that have always been there.
But you guys would kind of agree to an extent that there is that balance there, that, like, that it's not going to be the same as it was. And you also have to find a way to appeal to a newer audience, which you run the risk of the Thundercats Roar aspect of, like, well, this animation works with the Steven Universe thing. Kids really like it, and they want to go that direction because that's what they want to do, because those kids are eating it up. But at the same time, you alienate everybody else.
Mindless bubblegum crap. Yeah, they do. They alienate everybody else, and it's mindless bubblegum crap that, again, in 30 years, do you think people will be celebrating Steven Universe, or especially this new Thundercats War? Do you think they'll be there 30 years later like they have been for Thundercats and He-Man? That's the difference. Well,
I don't know, and I want to say I think not, because...
they won't.
Well, there's
care.
Just a gap there. It goes back to the same argument of... We are the people 9 times out of 10 that are going into the toy aisle still. Like, kids don't give a shit mostly about toys.
Exactly.
So it's just this weird, like, balance, and it's this weird, shitty situation of Hollywood's not creative, and we got to bring stuff back over and over and over again because they rely on us that keep going out having that hope that it might be good. And then
when it fails because they pissed us off, then they blame us. It's like, no, don't blame us. If you said it wasn't for us, then don't blame us.
It's just this weird, shitty thing. So, God.
You can't have it both ways.
Man,
exactly.
now I feel really depressed like Tyler did earlier. Holy shit.
Well, I think we got mainly all the questions, guys. I know you were doing a lot of chatting and everything, but I know I'm gonna have to get off here probably in about a minute or two. But they stayed really active. It was great, and like you said, we'll try your new test next week.
Yeah.
Because
We'll give.
still got to.
Yeah,
It is fun.
yeah, we'll give that a shot because, oh god, that was really
Well, Tyler,
frustrating.
Any closing remarks or something you'd like to recommend? At least do something uplifting that make you feel good before we end the show. Because can you imagine Tyler ending the show like that? Just
I'm already looking at him right here, and I don't think there's anything left.
he's like, I recommend nothing.
Yeah, well, we had me parked up a little bit, and then we go back into purgatory, and I'm just like, I'll just sit here.
But hey, man,
for that question.
Hey, no, it's not my fault. It's just real conversations that needed to be had.
No, but it's the same thing that we deal with all the time, because I feel like, look, if these things were not meant for us, then you would be displaying them on ads on Nickelodeon in the morning for little kids, or they would be on the Disney Channel or some shit like that. They would not be in a place where us 30 to 40-year-old grown men and women, would see this stuff, and it's advertised in avenues that we frequent or that we are a part of. If they are not meant for us, they would not be advertised in avenues that we frequent all the time. If Thundercats Roar was not meant for us, I don't think it should have been shown as like a Disney Channel exclusive, some shit like that. If it's not meant for us, then show it to the people that you're trying to aim it for.
Yeah, but
because it's so easy today that if you don't like it, then you hate gay people, or you hate black people, or you hate women, or you hate this or that to get us to shut up. When really, like, if it's not meant for us, then I think it would be clearly shown it's advertised for the little kids and not in a place that we are going to, they wouldn't be showing it. But San Diego Comic-Con is the latest.
Well, I was going to say, but at the time, too, like, advertisement has even changed. Like, people don't watch regular-ass TV, and when they do, like, they have it set to where it skips commercials and everything, because it's just, we want easy access. I want it, I want more of it, but I don't want any of the other shit. Like, it's just a weird time.
But here's a prime example, is that the Muppet Babies are back on the Disney Channel.
I saw that.
But, and you know what? I only know that because I saw my nephew watching it on the Disney Channel. I did not see anything advertised in anything on social media or YouTube or any other outlets that I frequent that says, "Hey, if you love the '80s, the Muppet Babies are back."
But to be fair though, like the Disney Channel is just like that's its own separate thing. Like when you when you think about it, when people have little kids, what are they wanting to do? We're gonna put it on PBS for like Sesame Street, whatever, Disney Channel early in the morning, whatever's on. Like that's not, to me, that's not so much of it had been advertised and showcased of like, hey guys, if you love this, it's back or whatever. Like the way that I knew it was back, I went into Target and went down the toy aisle and saw those things. I'm like, oh yeah, that kind of looks familiar, but it looks slightly different. They changed it up. I don't know what the show's like because I haven't watched it.
But you clearly know it was not meant for us. That was meant for little kids.
I mean,
But I'm saying with these other properties, they're not saying it's not meant for kids. They're saying that for She-Ra because of all the backlash she got, because that's the easy way out. You accuse people of hating gay people because their head writer is gay, or that they want to see tits and ass, because that's the cliche way of getting grown men to shut up. Because in this day and age, no one wants to be accused of being a hate monger or a racist or hates gays and lesbians or something like that. So you throw out that card because it's the easy thing to do. But something like Muppet Babies, clearly I can see like they were not aiming it to get our interest.
Oh, yeah,
that we grew up on that cartoon. That's what I'm saying. Like, and that's why when things like Thundercats Roar, I believe was clearly aimed at us. And it wasn't something like Muppet Babies, though.
I mean, yes and no on that front. Like, they're using it.
Might have to continue that. I was gonna say you might have to continue that next week, because I might have to get off here. Two quick things.
I'm not gonna give a shit. So.
Next week, just to let you know, Zen Brown said next week this is his birthday, so we'll definitely say happy birthday to you next week, Zen Brown.
No, wait a second here. We can't just have people just like, it doesn't work that way. You can't just come on here and tell us when your birthday
angry. Did I do this?
Well, he ain't gonna like this.
Is this
here's
all
the last
my
one.
fault? Did I do this?
Tags
Did
Media.
I do that?
Well, just to,
bring it back to
well, here you go. Tags Media Animation and Reviews said you guys should ask Kevin Smith to come on the show. So he wanted to end it with that.
Yeah,
so
hey,
again, I want to
right.
thank everybody that was in the chat room. Yeah, I want to
I
thank
got
everybody that was
nothing
in
to
the
say
chat
to him.
It
Why'd you stop making good movies,
God damn,
asshole?
Joe. Tyler, so pissed.
Exactly. But I'm going to say, guys, it was great having you on here. We love having you here each week. And like I said, with all these issues lately, that's why I say be sure to subscribe if you haven't already. Subscribe, share, like, ring the bell so you can always get notified when we go live. And yeah, I'm going to have to get out of here. So until next time, have a powerful day.
I don't have a quote. I'm completely drawing a blank right now because I'm just... I had quotes lined up earlier this week, and now I'm just like... Yeah, Silent Rage. There's a Chuck Norris reference there for you. I'm just completely like, it ain't fun to feel like this.
No, it doesn't. Well, there's a different way to end. See you guys next time.
I hope he doesn't kill me.